Introducing Zentrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zentrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zentrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.
Okay, what's up people? Welcome back to another stream. Hope everyone is doing well. As always guys, if you're enjoying the content, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. Subscribe to the channel. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. If you are interested to check out the signal service and join the Telegram, I'm going to share the link to the Zentrix community Telegram where you can find updates and information about the project. But also, if you do head to the pinned messages at the top of that Telegram chat, you'll find the link to the Telegram for the signals, which has an array of signals, different time frames, different chart patterns, indicators. So if you are interested, check it out. Head over to that Telegram, go to the pinned messages at the top. You'll see the link at the bottom of the pinned messages, and you can click there and join through there. But hope everyone is doing well. Welcome. What's up, Derek? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing good. Feel good to be here. That's great to hear, my man. I'm glad to have you on the stream. What's up, Yusuf? Good morning. Hope you're doing good. I am doing well. Thank you for asking. So as always, we'll go through the USD side of things first. Take a look at the dollar, USD majors, gold, silver. Any request, please let me know. Drop it in the chat if there's any pairs you're trading or looking to trade or just want my opinion on. Whack it in the chat and we'll take a look. And of course, let me know any specific time frames. Most of the time, 4-hour daily charts, kind of where I spend most of my time. But if you are a bit more intraday or slightly on the higher time frames, let me know so I can take a look for you. But we'll start with the DXY as we normally do. So with the dollar, we were pretty bullish on Monday, not as bullish on Tuesday, but yeah, I'm pretty bullish as a whole here for the dollar. I know that, of course, the market is still bearish technically in terms of market structure. We're seeing lower lows and lower highs. So 100%, I get that, but it does look to me that the trend is starting to form a bit of a bottom. We're starting to run out of steam, and as a result, I do expect to see a bit of a move to the upside. Now, I'm not looking for necessarily a reversal or anything crazy. I'm just expecting the market to form somewhat of an uptrend as we kind of relax that bearish trend and take a bit of a breather, really. It might turn into a reversal. It might just continue low at some stage. We'll get more information and I'll share my opinion as we see more data and more information. But as of right now, it looks to me that price is forming a higher low in comparison to the recent low we just formed. So, the market was making pretty consistent lower lows and lower highs until this point here. It looks like we've seen some momentum and we're climbing back above some significance in terms of support and resistance as well. So I'm looking for price to continue higher. If I do drop to the 4-hour chart, I'm basically looking for a correction of this swing. We've got the 50 over there, kind of lines up pretty well with that daily level we just lined up. So I'm looking for a bit of a pullback of that and a continuation. And that's really the play I'm after now for the DXY. So I'm looking for more dollar strength. I quite like the momentum we had here because it was pretty aggressive on the way down. We had a very corrective move up. And we won't really see much momentum for the buyer. So we didn't really see much of a sign that says, okay, dollar is now going to be strong and now going to reverse. It was all very, very corrective. And then we did roll over. Things picked up pretty bearish. And looked at one point, price was just going to come and test the lows. Until we did form this low here. And then we shot to the upside pretty aggressively on Monday. and of course just about took out the highs there. So to me, this is price showing the shift, an aggressive one as well. And now I'm simply just looking for the pullback of this move. Would be nice to see if we can push into the kind of 98.2, 98 area, and from there find some opportunities to look for the next leg and targets. You got the next kind of resistance level above us at 99.3. I think 100 could be a big psychological level for the DXY. So that's kind of where I think price might be heading towards slightly longer term. But if I can get a push back into that area, that would be a fantastic move there on the dollar. So I'm pretty bullish on the USD now, looking for a pullback and more upside. So taking that information into Euro USD, I'm pretty much looking for the exact opposite. So of course, a pullback and then more downside. The only thing with Euro right now is that we are testing some critical support, which I do think price will likely break through, but at least I do want to see price bounce to the upside before I do short. I'm not a big fan of shorting directly into especially daily levels of support and resistance, especially when price has respected it so well so far. So I do want price to see some upside anyway for Euro USD, but again, same kind of situation. Price is making higher highs. Now all of a sudden we're making lower highs. So it looks like we're starting to shift, especially with all that momentum. As you can see with that big bearish candle on Monday, price had a very aggressive bearish move. So I am looking at something like this here for euro dollar, bit of a correction and then the continuation. Ideally, I would like to see a retest of this range here. That's the only place that actually makes sense for me to hop into a short. Whether we'll actually get the pullback or all that, all that way to test that area. Maybe we do, maybe we don't. But I'm looking through the market. I'm not really seeing any other significant area which I'd be happy to place some shorts at. Kind of lines up with the 0.786. So it's a pretty deep retracement I'm asking for. But I think it makes sense in terms of how the market's moving. We've got a high over there, big push down, lower high over there, big push down. Might see another big pullback. There's somewhat of a trend line connecting the dots. Maybe you can even see a test of that trend line potentially. I'm not too sure if we will, but I'm looking for a pretty big correction there. And this is where my confidence does lie for Euro USD. And then, yeah, I can take some shorts because at least from this area, I'm not shorting directly into some daily support. And at least at that point, I can probably move stops to break even, take partials, lock in some gains whilst we're at this area. So just in case price does do something like this, I'm not in danger. I probably still walk away for a small win at that point. And of course, if it does break through, maybe I walk away for a slightly bigger one. So yeah, Euro, looking for some shorts. Just want to see a pullback into 1.17 area and take some downside, but pretty much looking for the exact opposite of what the DXY is doing. And again, my bias right now is pretty much with the dollar buyers. Pound USD, I like the shorts as well with this one. Not as concrete in terms of like the setup. For the entry. The setup alone looks pretty good. It's just a really nice head and shoulder pattern, really. So you got the left, you got the head, and you got the right shoulder over there. And that's the neckline price just recently snapped through. So the plan now is we're looking for a lower high. And again, on the lower low, we've got some support below us here, which we're targeting or expecting price to go and test. As long as price doesn't break through the high here, I stay bearish and I stay looking to short the market, and especially with the bullish bias of USD. If USD is going to be strong, I'm expecting pound USD to be weak, of course. Now, there's a couple of areas where things could get interesting. You've got this area here, which price had a brief consolidation, did drop to the downside pretty well. That could be the area which does send us to the downside potentially. I'm looking for a slightly bigger pullback than that, especially after taking out some major lows to our left. Typically, I want price to have a much bigger pullback before I do get involved, but sometimes the market will have some shallow pullbacks and continue. This could be that occasion, so I think that's a worthy area to keep an eye out. I'm preferably looking for a slightly deeper pullback into this area of supply, which you can see a bit better on the daily chart. Let me draw a bit bigger to include that candle there. So this is, of course, where the supply momentum came from the bears. Strong push to the upside, turn around with that bearish candle, and that gave us the shift to the downside. So if price could see a bigger pullback into that area, that would be brilliant as well. And I'll be expecting shorts again. As long as price doesn't take out this high, I stay bearish, looking to short the market. As long as I don't see like an aggressive retracement, of course, then I'll kind of back away. But if we stay corrective on the way up, or even just somewhat corrective, I'm looking to short pound as long as that high is intact. So preferably speaking, I like to be shorting as close to that high as possible, because that's the area which I'll be proven wrong from. So if I can get some entries there, safer stop loss, bigger risk reward, yeah, etc. But yeah, we'll see what happens. Depends how much of a pullback we get. Maybe it's this area, maybe it's that area, maybe we don't even reach that area either. But in terms of direction anyway, definitely expecting more downside for pound USD. Dollar CAD looking for upside here. This one's still kind of just banging its head on some resistance right now. So I wouldn't say I'm looking to buy dollar CAD just yet, but I do believe within due course I will be looking to buy it soon. This is the level which I'm kind of just waiting for price to break through. You've got some lovely support there, resistance over there, resistance over there. So price has been, respecting this level pretty well as support and as resistance. And I do expect to see us break through, especially with the dollar strength coming in. And if we do break through, that will be the green light to start looking for some buys, because at this point we've got the triple bottom there. Well, slightly higher lows, but essentially price is not breaking through that level, rebounding 3 times. And if we were to break through resistance, we're basically breaking outside of this range here. So the plan is look for a break and retest, the higher low, and next big target back into that supply zone on our left, so around 1.395. So yeah, pretty bullish on dollar CAD, but it does rely on a break of that resistance and a decent one as well. And if we can get that, that'll be fantastic. And we're looking for some pullbacks. This will be your impulse leg, looking at some pullbacks, and then targets kind of back to this consolidation up there, where all this momentum actually started from. So dollar CAD I quite like the look of, but probably still maybe a couple days away from a decent breakout and a pullback we need as well. So that might take some time. But yeah, I quite like what I'm seeing here with dollar CAD, looking at more upside. Aussie dollar, pretty bearish on this one, looking for more downside. Looks like we're trying to break out this descending channel. It looks like we might be doing it. I wouldn't say it's confirmed yet because we're still within the channel. But if you can start to see price break to the downside, that'd be fantastic. And I think we get the green light. I'm looking for a pretty big move, kind of back down to the 0.625, 62 area. I think we might see a pullback, maybe even actually including 0.63 in that. I think we could see a pullback into kind of this area before maybe we see some more upside. But we'll discuss as that goes along. Again, I wouldn't be looking to buy anyway. Aussie dollar, I know there's an uptrend here. We're seeing higher lows, so there's some logic looking to buy the dip. But I'm not a big fan. I only see price falling here. Yes, it might bounce again, but I think it'll only be a short-term move. You can see by the condition of the trend. It's not like a free-flowing trend. It's a very corrective one. So if you're looking to buy here, I would say keep the kind of keep the trade short and sweet, not looking for anything too big of a trade. And if prices get back to the highs, you're kind of looking to lock in gains there, which again could be a decent trade in itself. But I am expecting price to fall, especially with the strength of the dollar coming in. So if we do see a strong break, there might be some nice pullbacks along the way to the downside. Something like this to look into. But we can speak more about that when the breakout actually does happen. In terms of New Zealand dollar, that one, similar situation as Aussie in terms of, okay, we've got an ascending channel as well, which I'm expecting price to break to the downside. In terms of us looking to trade this, same situation in terms of we are coming back to the low of the channel as well. We might see a bounce from here. Again, more so kind of just looking for a reaction rather than the swing, especially because the last time we respected the low of the channel, we only saw a push halfway, which again is another reason why to keep an eye on that middle line of the channel. It's quite a pivotal one, because not all the time do you see a full swing of the whole channel, but a push to the 50% is actually pretty likely. So it's always a nice place to lock in some gains. Move stops to break even. So if price was to do something like this, it's not the end of the world. But yeah, we're coming back into the same area again. Like I said, we didn't make it to the opposite end the last time we're here, so it doesn't give me much confidence that suddenly we will now. Maybe we do push back into the same area and come back down, so maybe that's something tradable. But you're more so looking just to buy the reaction off the low rather than a big swing and a continuation of a trend, because there isn't really much of a trend to continue. So New Zealand dollar, I do expect to see eventually us break to the downside, whether it's now or maybe on the next attempt. That's up to New Zealand dollar. But I do expect us to pull back down before maybe a bigger swing to the upside. So I'm personally waiting for that bigger sell-off before the buy. But if you're a bit more interested in the pair, like I said, there might be some bias off the trend line there, but I'll keep it short and sweet. In terms of gold, gold's back and forth, back and forth. Really nice rejection of resistance not long ago. On the daily chart, I've still got the two levels which I've spoken about quite some time now. I still like the look of both of them. Waiting for price to get to them before I do anything really. And since price is not there, there's not much I can do. All of this to me looks like noise, just random fluctuation. I would stay away from gold really. If I'm going to trade this, it's because prices approach support, significant support, and a safe area where I can put my stop loss, and a safe place for an entry as well. That would be this area, that would be this area. Anything in the middle is just not going to give me those things in terms of safety of an entry, safety of a stop loss, or just be away from the noise. I'll be bang in the middle of everything. So I'm not really interested in the price action here. Maybe something like this might look to happen, something like a head and shoulder there. But again, I'm clutching straws there. It's nothing concrete, basically because of the conditions. So yeah, gold, come here. Then I can look to talk more about it and probably take some positions actually. But if we stay in the middle of the range, I'm not interested. And in terms of silver, very bullish on this one. There's still a lot of momentum in the market. There are some signs that we are starting to slow down. We're getting more frequent pullbacks and more aggressive ones as well. So I still do like this level because it was a very strong breakout. Price hasn't come back for a retest. I think that's still a great place for a buy. But I am seeing some red flags that momentum is drying. So if price does get here, I'm not going to be so optimistic with my targets and shoot for the moon. I'm going to be watchful of that trade just in case we do come back down again. Because in fairness, silver has had a nice rally, to be honest. Maybe a bigger pullback is due. We never actually had the retest of this area here. This was a pretty significant level at 34.8. Maybe silver is due a correction all the way back to that level there as well. So that's a possibility too. So I'm going to be a bit watchful of silver. I'm still very bullish on the pair. As a whole, there's still a lot of momentum in the market as well. So buys is still a no-brainer for me. But I can see some signs of us slowing down. So I'll take that into consideration. But if we can get back to 37.2, 37.3, I'll see what type of price action we can get there. If things look good, rejection, entry confirmations, I'll be happy to take a buy and see how far we can take this to the upside. So yeah, that's kind of really where I'm at with USD. Again, silver and gold's going to be a bit awkward because especially with the dollar strength coming to the market, they might see a bit more downside, which actually could help me out because I do want to see a bit more downside anyway to find some entries at the levels I'm looking at. But in terms of dollar strength, pretty much all the USD majors, I'm looking at dollar strength being the main mover. So euro down, pound down, Aussie down, New Zealand down, dollar CHF, dollar CAD up, dollar yen up as well. So I'm expecting that dollar strength to come in. Of course, we've got a lot of news coming out this week, so that could change. Again, I'm very much focused on the price action. So if the news does come in and change the price action, then of course I'll change with it. But right now, the price is at least my analysis anyway, is pointing me in the direction of dollar bulls. If that changes this afternoon, or if that changes at some point this week on Friday, whenever, I will look to, of course, change that analysis and I'll let you guys know. But for now, dollar strength is kind of where I'm at. Anyway, where were we? King V, the chart is on the screen, my man, or lady. Yeah, it's on the screen there. If you do want me to make it brighter, let me know. I don't know if it's too dark and you guys can't see, but if it's not kind of visible enough, I can make it a little bit brighter so you can see it. But the chart and the time frame is literally in the middle of the screen there. Yes, I will go through BTC and GJ, no problem. Tashi, good morning, hope you're well. Tony Gold, my man, I hope you're doing good. Derek, what about yellow metal? What's yellow metal? I'm confused. Yes, we'll go take a look at pound yen. Yusuf, analysis on euro change. Did the analysis on euro change? Okay, I'll go through euro USD for you. Hey, what's up, Ola? Welcome to the stream. Good morning. Hope you're doing good. Morning, Ivan. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. Ola, please check New Zealand dollar. I'm looking for a buy trade. Okay, no problem. We'll take a look as well. Dima, what is up? Hope you're doing good. So BTC GJ we'll take a look at next, and then we'll take a look at euro and New Zealand dollar. And of course, if there's specific time frames you want me to take a look at, let me know as well, guys. But in terms of BTC is interesting. It's kind of just consolidating, but it's still a very bullish market regardless. The last kind of move we had was a very impulsive one. Right now, kind of just gotten a bit flat. So it's an interesting one, really, for BTC. I would say it's kind of 50-50 which way we break out. To be honest, we've seen aggressive wicks to the upside, aggressive wicks to the downside. Because the market naturally is in a bullish trend, I would favor us to break higher. But I wouldn't be shocked if we do break to the downside and go through a bit of a retracement as well. We are at all-time highs. If this was like over here, then I would favor us to break to the upside because we're just breaking out of a corrective period. We've still got highs above us. I would expect us to go and hit them. Because now BTC is at all-time highs, I would say that the breakout is probably a bit more 50-50. Of course, there's still an uptrend there, so maybe you do favor the upside, but again, it doesn't really matter which way you favor, especially for a breakout. You're just waiting for the market to break, and then you make your play afterwards. But if you look and trade within the range, it's pretty simple. Buy low, sell high. You've got a lot of support below us. I would probably focus my entries in these areas here, and probably looking at targets around this area here, all the wicks are collecting. So with BTC, if you're looking for short-term trades, not trying to look for any significant swings, you're looking just to buy low and sell high, really. That's all the market is doing, and until we get a breakout, that's when the market's going to likely to continue to do. So if you can pick some longs off 116 or some shorts around 120, I'd say those are healthy areas to buy and sell from. And then, of course, you've got the swing high there as maybe a target if you do catch a breakout. And if you do catch a break to the downside, I would suggest kind of these areas is something you can look at. So, yeah, with BTC, just back and forth. Again, in terms of the breakout, I'll just wait for price to break out and then we'll go from there rather than trying to predict it, because even if I predict it wrong, I'm still going to be looking for the breakout in whichever direction it is and looking for opportunities off the back of that. So just wait for the breakout in terms of if that's the opportunity you're looking at. If you're looking to trade within the range, then you've got your kind of lows and highs to work with to buy and sell from. But apart from that, it's a very sideways market right now. And I'm just going to continue to expect it to range until we get that breakout. In terms of GJ, so GJ's interesting. We're kind of slowly rolling over here a little bit. Again, I'm still very bullish on GJ. If actually stay to the daily chart. I'm looking for eventually a breakout to 207.661. I do think price long term is going to head over there. There's some resistance. Price is struggling to break through at the moment. As you can see, test it once over there. We're back there again. We're really failing to break through. We've got this long-term standing trend line, which is like price is testing at the moment right now. We did talk about some buys yesterday with pound yen. I said if price was to push back into support here, this would be a healthy place for a buy because the market is essentially ranging. But you've got some really critical support. You've got the trend line there as well. Some nice wicks there on the 4-hour chart, I must add. Yeah, a very nice place for a buy. But again, I'll keep it short and sweet. I'm not looking for a crazy move here. There's a lot of resistance above us. I think if you can get a push back into resistance here, I think that's a healthy place to lock in some gains and potentially even call it a day on the trade, or at least remove risk. But yeah, pound yen is coming back into a trend line. Maybe we do have another push to the upside from this area, but the way I see it, price kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place. So really what I'm waiting for is just the breakout of all of this nonsense. So if price can break to the upside, well, sort of similar to what Euro Yen did, really kind of commanding break to the upside, then that gives me the green light to be looking for pullbacks and some more buying opportunities along the way. At least now I know I'm not trading directly into resistance, and maybe I'm using that as support as well to really benefit the trade. So pound yen is a pair which I'm pretty bullish on. I do think we can break higher. At the moment the market is extremely flat, and I think probably just waiting for a catalyst. Hopefully some point this week we'll get the energy we need to get the breakout. So we're waiting for something to give it the shove to get it going. This is what I'm looking for, but of course I need the break of the high first before I can start looking for the pullbacks. If you do break to the downside here, then I would be looking for shorts, but I do want us to break structure as well, which would be this swing low. This is of course the swing low, which gave us the new high. So if I drop to the 4-hour chart, see a little bit better. This is the swing low, which gave us that run to the upside. So price can break the trend line and go and break that low, then yeah, that would make me pretty bearish on the pair, and I'll be looking at lower lows and lower highs for a downturn. So that would be the bearish scenario if it does happen, but that's only if we do break the trend line and of course take out the low. If we do break to the upside, then we're just looking for the trend to continue, and everything is pretty straightforward in that department. So yeah, pound yen is an interesting one, but yeah, it's one that's kind of just sideways, so kind of waiting for it to get going. And until then, I would just sit back. Okay, where was I? Okay, so we did pound yen, Euro USD, Yusuf. We'll go take a look at that one. Ola. We'll take a look at news at NZD for you. Said you're looking for a buy trade, 0.59264. Sure thing. LFTJ, what's up? Pass my funding account. Nice, congratulations. Buying low and selling high in the BTC in one day. Just within the range you marked, not bad. That's really taking advantage of range. Again, ranges are, they're not kind of just doom and gloom. Of course, if you specifically focus on trend markets, then of course, they're not for you. But if you can work out a strategy trading ranges, which is pretty simple, you don't need to be Einstein. Essentially, you just want to be buying low and selling high. There's some really nice opportunities, but especially if you're looking at kind of scalping opportunities, just trading the reaction. You're not necessarily looking for a big swing. It's more so, okay, price at the low of the range. Looking for signs of rejection. Are we likely to bounce? Well, you got yourself a nice trade idea there as well. Like, same thing with the top as well. So congrats there, LFTJ. Danny, good morning. Hope you're well. Hey, appreciate it. Please, everyone, hit the like button. Thank you. Yeah, guys, if you're enjoying the stream, please be sure to hit the like button. It does really help out, helps grow the channel. It does really help out the channel, guys. So I do really appreciate if you could drop a like. And thank you to everyone who has liked so far. Of course, whilst you're at it, subscribe to the channel if you're enjoying the content, and hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads. Yes, we can take a look at US 30 and NAS, no problem. What's up, Lauder? Welcome to the stream. Hope you're well. I'll go through Euro first, New Zealand dollar, then I'll go through the two indices. How to open a Forex account. You're talking about with a brokerage? Well, there's a lot of brokerages you can choose from. It's pretty simple, actually, to open a Forex account. Just head to a brokerage of your choice. I mean, I would recommend IC Markets. They're a good brokerage, but again, you can do your research. There's many big brokerage you can choose from, but it's pretty simple to open a Forex account, at least a demo one as well. And especially if it's your first account, I would recommend it to be a demo. Yes, a lot of exciting news this week, 100%, 100%. A lot of exciting news today, even. Today alone, but yeah, this week is going to be an interesting one. Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. Yeah, hopefully yen proper direction off the Bank of Japan tomorrow. Yeah, hopefully. I think in terms of yen pairs have kind of quieted down a little bit. USD's picked up speed a little bit over the past couple of days. Yen has been quite corrective for a while, so I think yen's the one to watch. I quite like the yen pairs. I think zooming out on the higher time frames, they look pretty good. So I'm actually quite liking what I'm seeing with the yen pairs in terms of opportunities, but in terms of getting the ball rolling, you might need some news for that. So yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Okay, no problem, King. And low profit. Nice. Well, yeah, just manage the trade you see fit. If you had a plan going to trade, try and stick to that plan as much as possible. And on the reviewing is kind of where you grow as a trader, not as you're trading. But yeah, I mean, if you're talking about the buys, if this trade that's really, I like the idea there. You got some nice confluence coming to a nice trend line, solid rejection there. I think the buys make sense. I would probably wait for that candle to close before entering, which is in about 3.5 hours time. Just to get momentum in my favor. But if it can close strong, I think that's a solid entry. And if you're already in the trade, you've got an even better entry, of course. And if you've got some stops below the low, I think that makes perfect sense for pound yen. Anyway, let's go for euro. So yeah, my bias or my analysis hasn't changed for euro. It's pretty much the same as yesterday, which is prices at support here. I'm looking for a pullback, preferably to retest this area here. I'm expecting us to continue lower. I'm not too sure if we'll get a pullback there. We might even go and break the support and just keep falling. But no, I'm looking for a pullback in Euro USD. It's just about finding the entry for it and the shorts. If price does just dump from here, then it dumps from there. It's not a trade I'll look to take. I won't be looking to short direct into this area, especially after just taking out some lows there as well. That just doesn't make sense to me. In terms of quality over quantity anyway. So yeah, I'm looking for a much bigger pullback there for euro. I'm kind of anticipating a bit of a pullback for the DXY as well. So hopefully they kind of coincide with one another. DXY, nice push to the upside. This one created new highs as well. I'm looking for a bit of a pullback of this leg, back to retest that area, and then some more upside. So if the dollar can pull back like that, euro probably can too, and that should give us some nice selling opportunities. And in terms of a zone to short from, it would be this area. There's no other significant area which I can look to. And to short from, this is the only area that makes sense. Lovely consolidation. We spat out a lot of momentum there, really aggressive move. So if price was to come back and return to that area, well, I would expect to see more downside. We've got these lower highs, 1, 2, looking for a third one really. A push back into support would do the trick. And then maybe we can break through that as well and go further, especially if USD keeps pushing. But we'll make that call later on. But yeah, euro very bearish on. As for the 50-minute chart, we are looking a little bit flat now. We did actually see a continuation. There was a pretty impulsive move, but price still came back down there, which again goes to show you that not everything's 100%. This was a very impulsive pullback. I wouldn't look to short that. But of course, in this case, it actually did continue. That's kind of the funny side of trading. You can still take a poor position and it might still work. Just like you can take a really good trade and it can still fail, which is why we manage risk and we don't bet a whole account on one position. But yeah, I would say euro is looking quite corrective now. We had a lot of momentum in this drive lower here. Now we're seeing kind of frequent pullbacks, deep pullbacks. So I think euro is probably going to fizzle out soon and go through something like this. Of course, maybe news might do something else. If news comes in and gives us a strong move down like that, well, we're in a different phase again. But if we do stay corrective, we might have that deeper correction there. So be wary of that. But anyway, yeah, for euro, this is what I'm looking at from a swing point of view. The bias is still the same. Expecting lower prices there. As for New Zealand dollar, like I said, I'm not the biggest fan of the buys because I do see price heading lower. I'm still pretty bearish on New Zealand dollar. I'm pretty bullish on the dollar itself. So I'm never really going to be looking to try and buy it because it goes against my expectations for the currencies. But yes, I can see why you're looking to buy. You know, you got the first test there, second test there, third test, you know, probably a fourth test, might see another bounce there. Makes sense 100%, but it just is a very corrective trend. It's not like we've been trending healthy to the upside or we've been free flowing. It's a very corrective, slow grinding trend, deep pullbacks, corrective nature, not much momentum. It's a market which I do expect to break lower for quite a few reasons. So because of that, I'm not interested in the buys. I'm more interested in price breaking lower. But if you are looking at buys and you're kind of waiting to see how price operates in this area, 592.264. So that would be kind of around here anyway. So yeah, if you're looking for a buys kind of in this area here, makes sense, but you're kind of more trading a reaction rather than, you know, a massive swing. I'm quite interested to know where your target is for that trade. You know, how far you're looking to hold that position, because the last time we did reach the low of the trend line, you can see we only moved about halfway. We didn't actually see the full swing to the upper end of the channel. Each previous time, you know, we did see a full swing to the high of the channel, full swing to the high of the channel. And in this case, we only got halfway. So now, because we're only getting halfway, that gives me even less confidence of me expecting a big swing like that. So yeah, New Zealand dollar, yes, I can understand the buys there, but it's more of a short-term trade. That's how I see it, more of a reaction. Now I'm expecting price maybe to go and break through pretty soon. So be cautious with that trade. My advice wouldn't be have massive targets. Not to say that we won't bounce there, we very much could, but I'm not expecting anything crazy. And of course, I could be wrong as well. So I'm just giving you my honest opinion on the market and the reason why I'm expecting price to go lower. Okay, so we'll go through the indices next for Danny. Lauder, thoughts and pound pairs, okay. Bearish buyers just waiting for setups to paint, okay, nice. Do you have any specific pound pairs you really like? I'm pretty short bias on pound Aussie. I'm pretty short bias on pound USD as well. But the funny thing is I'm actually quite bullish on pound yen. More so on the yen, not so much what pound it's doing there really. More so because I kind of expect more weakness for the yen. But I kind of do expect the pullback as well at some point. But yeah. But yeah, pound Aussie, I like shorts. Pound USD, I like shorts. Pound CAD, I can like shorts. Not quite ready yet. I think that's probably still got a few days before that develops. But yeah, I kind of do have a bearish bias as well. But we can go through some more pound pairs shortly. Okay, yeah, pound Aussie, pound USD. Yeah, same as me. Nice. Okay, so we'll go take a look at US 30 and NAS. So Dow Jones. So yeah, Dow Jones, bit of a bearish reaction yesterday. And can you blame it? You know, look where price is trading, coming back into major resistance. Once over there, big push down. Second test over there, a humongous push down. And again, a third test over there. It's only a very slight reaction, but still, it's an area which there's a lot of resistance at. Maybe more sellers are invited. Buyers looking to take profit as well. You know, buyers who bought down here. You know, some of them might be buying for a long term, from a long-term perspective, but some of them would say that, okay, we're back at highs again. Let me take a good chunk of my profits. Naturally, that should invite some selling pressure into the market, and hence you had a bit of a reaction there. But the question is, how big of a reaction do we see? Is this it, or do we keep falling? Now, I wouldn't say there's much to do here really with US 30. I would still say the market is still bullish as a whole. It's an indice, so I do expect us to break through the highs. But I wouldn't be looking to take any buys until I see evidence of that happening. and signs of a continuation where I can go, okay, now I'm looking for a break and retest and some buys off the back of that. So that would be the plain and simple buying opportunity, trend continuing, breaking through highs, looking for the retest and the continuation off the back of that. So that would be like, textbook stuff. At the moment, it's a bit awkward, I would say, because I wouldn't really be looking to sell, especially not here. Maybe if price was to return to resistance and show some signs of rejection again, that could be a nice sell. It's still quite aggressive. We're still shorting a very bullish indice. We're still trying to call the tops essentially, but there is some sense to it because the 2 times we were here, we had massive reactions. So it does make sense, but I would still say it's a bit more of an aggressive trade because we're shorting the highs really. And more often than not, it's not normally a good idea to short the highs, I must add. So it's more of a trade. You're kind of just there for the reaction in terms of you're not looking for a huge sell-off. It's more so you're shorting the reaction. It might only last a few candlesticks before momentum starts going against you. So you probably want to be quick with your profit. Maybe you do catch a big reversal. Maybe it's just a slight reaction before we do push higher. So you want to stay on your toes with that sort of idea. But that's something to look into. We're at a very big level. If price was to get there, reject it again, that would make sense for a short. Would I be looking for buyers who come lower? No, not really. The way I see it, kind of starting to look like a consolidation, really. So I wouldn't really look too much into the price action here. It's quite messy. Not much consistency. Momentum starting to die down as well. We just rejected the big level. So the way I see it, this is starting to become a little bit choppy now. Almost a consolidation. So I wouldn't read too much into price action there. My focus really now would be with this level. Whether we look to sell from it after a strong rejection or price glides through the level, big breakout, and we can start to talk about some longs on the flip side. So that's kind of already where I'm at with US30. Not the best price action, kind of sideways as a whole now, but we've got a big level, and depending whether we're breaking through or not, I think there could be some nice opportunities off the back of that. And in terms of NAS, we're kind of slowly grinding higher here. A nice bullish ascending channel here. I just connect the dots. You can see we've done a pretty good job at respecting this channel. Lovely test at the low, lovely test at the high. So we've done a pretty good job, and I do expect us to eventually push down. You'll see a bigger retracement. I did talk about this area of demand yesterday and last week. Really nice area, consolidated, shot to the upside for a lot of momentum. I think that's naturally a nice area of confluence where again another bounce makes sense. I still think for NAS, we are due another one of these kind of sell-offs and then a recovery. We made all-time highs not too long ago. I do think price is likely to pull back, maybe even retest the high as well. That could be something interesting to discuss in the near future. But we are kind of slowly grinding higher. So at some point, I do expect the pullback, but I'm not going to try and predict it because this kind of grind could continue for another couple of weeks, potentially 3 weeks, a month maybe. So I'm not going to try and say, okay, we're going to short for the next however many days. What we have in front of us is still a very bullish market, and if we can dip lower into this area, I think that's still a nice place for a buy. If this was like an FX market, I would stay away because I would say the drop is pretty imminent because that's our FX move, but indices are slightly different. And that's again something to keep an eye on. That how you trade FX pairs. There's going to be a slight difference between FX pairs and indices and commodities and pretty much every other market. They're going to have their tendencies. You have to be able to adapt and recognize. FX we tend to kind of chop around. We don't spend too much time at all-time highs normally, and if we do tend to have pretty big corrections pretty soon afterwards. Indices on the other hand. Can rip through all-time highs and just keep chugging away. Of course, there will be some corrections as well, but these guys can really keep going. So, trying to call tops here is quite difficult and quite aggressive. So, that's kind of where I'm at with NAS. Okay, so hopefully that made sense. We'll go through some pound pairs next. Actually, no, I'll go through UJ. Then I'll go through the pound pairs afterwards because there's a bunch of them to go through. King, yes, I have seen you Ethereum, but we can go through that as well. Ethereum's been quite exciting, I'm not gonna lie. Very, very exciting market that one. I do have high hopes for Ethereum. Hasn't made a new all-time high since 2021, and BTC's made like 5 or 6 since then. So I think we're very much overdue a new all-time high for Ethereum, and we've still got quite a long way to go as well, which is interesting. But I'll go through that shortly. First, let me get on to dollar yen. So dollar yen, yeah, still pretty bullish on dollar yen. Still looking for us to climb higher. I must say this is a quite awkward market. Hasn't been clean, still quite choppy, I would say. You could probably pretty much argue that this is just consolidation, really. It pretty much is, to be fair. I wouldn't argue against it, really. Price at the moment is back at resistance, so it looks like we're having a little bit of trouble right now. I did kind of expect us to go and pinch the highs there, but it looks like we're kind of struggling at resistance here. I still think we can probably still push to the upside and get to the highs here. But I'm not a fan of how he did break to the downside. It's quite aggressive. And we did kind of break through the lows here too, which is not great. So yeah, I'm not really seeing much of an opportunity here with dollar yen, because the way I'm looking at it is we've been pretty tired. This was a very corrective grind higher. We were speaking about this yesterday, how corrective this is all looking. And now price had this sell-off breaking through structure as well. And of course, we know that we're testing resistance there too. Would I want to be buying this? No. Would I want to be selling it? Probably not quite yet. Not quite yet. I like the momentum we're seeing here, but now it's coming into like a weird consolidation. Maybe if we were to drop to the downside again and show some signs of more momentum from the bears, so something like this, coming back in again, then yeah, sure, I would like a retest of that area and a continuation. That would make sense to me. But dollar yen, I don't know. We might do that, we might not. Right now, we're quite flat. I'm not really seeing much of an opportunity. Like I said, the buys don't look great, especially the levels we're rejecting. So to me, the only best bet here is if we can continue this selling pressure, another push down, pull back and a retest. Okay, that would make sense to me. Other than that, not really seeing much of an opportunity, to be honest. Not seeing much of an opportunity with dollar yen, at least on the 15 as well. And to be honest, on the 4-hour daily chart, I'm not seeing much better price action. Yeah, kind of box off as consolidation. I do think this is kind of like a slow grind and a slow retracement of this leg here. So the way I see it is kind of like this, and eventually we'll probably like to get continuation. So that's kind of what I see dollar yen doing. There's some major resistance above us here. We might go and tap into that before the sell. So I do have an idea of what I'm expecting or what I'm looking for dollar yen, but it's taking its sweet time. And in terms of the right here, right now opportunities, not seeing much of any, unless we get something like this. Yeah, not a big fan of the price action. So yeah, I hope that makes sense on UJ. We'll take a look at GA and GU next. We'll go for a couple of pound pairs as well. Ethereum, we'll take a look at next, or after those. Stress relief. Seems like it's checking casually. No, I mean, I rarely do that ever, to be honest. Because again, I trade in the 4-hour chart, so I can really see my setups miles away. Before I take a trade, I'm pretty much know that I'm probably going to take that trade at the very least, like 2 or 3 days before, sometimes even a couple of weeks before. So yeah, I can't remember the last time that I would just casually check a market and go, oh, that's a really nice setup, and take the trade. I could go like, oh, that's a nice idea, but it might not be in line with my plan or my trading style. So I could stumble upon something like that, but I wouldn't take it anyway. Maybe if I trade like the 50-minute chart, the 5-minute chart, things will happen quickly. So yeah, I could be surprised from that element. But I pretty much take all my entries on the 4-hour chart. So yeah, I'm very rarely surprised with price action because it doesn't change much from the day to day. So yeah, I don't think that's probably happened on the stream before, to be honest. Even when I was trading on the hourly chart, because again, with hourly chart, I kind of was a bit more focused in terms of the pairs I was going to trade for that week. So I might have seen like a setup outside of that, but again, I just wouldn't trade it because it's not what I was focusing on for that specific day or specific week. So yeah, there are some times where I do come across some pairs. I'm like, oh, that looks like a good opportunity, but it's probably not in line with the plan, because if it was in line with my plan, I would have already spotted it. Yeah, so not really something I do. Maybe if I was on the smaller time frames, yeah, because things happen quicker. Not on the 4-hour chart. You know, it takes a whole 4 hours for a candle to close. So yeah, unlikely to happen to me. In terms of pound Aussie, yeah, so pound Aussie I'm looking to short as well, but at the moment we are still holding on to support here pretty well, I must add. So I've been expecting us to break to the downside and go for a bit of a sell-off here, but you know, price is still respecting support pretty well. We kind of dipped below slightly, but it looks to me that price is clinging on to this and actually seeing a pretty strong close there. So pound Aussie, I'm backing away for shorts from now, because basically the plan was for pound Aussie in terms of the shorts. I had two kind of clear-cut ideas. Either price breaks the downside, so we get a strong breakout, and then I look for the retest for the continuation. So that's short idea number one. Or we push back to resistance all the way up here, and I short from there. You know, there's the only two short opportunities that make sense to me. Everything else is just in the range, so I wouldn't bother, to be honest. So I am short bias pound Aussie as well, but we're just not doing what we need to be doing for me to short it. So yes, I do agree, more downside. I am kind of looking in terms of where we're trading. This is the monthly chart. You can see, you know, this was the COVID high dating back to March 2020. We came back into that area, massive wick rejection, big spike through that area. I do think there is a bit of a relief likely to be had for this trend. Maybe the uptrend is still likely to continue, but I think we can at least pull back, maybe to retest some of these areas before continuing. So I'm pretty bearish on pound Aussie, and I do think we're likely to break out that consolidation to the downside and continue going lower. But at the same time, I can see that price is doing a pretty good job at respecting support here. So for pound Aussie's sake, I'm going to be a bit more cautious. Yes, I'm bearish long term, but no setup at all. In terms of pound USD, there's a pretty clear setup here for me. I like what I'm seeing with pound USD. We've got a clear head and shoulder pattern. So of course you've got the left head, right shoulder, and we just about got the break of the neckline over here. So that's confirmed that this structure is now bearish. So the plan basically for pound USD is, as long as we don't break through this high here, I remain bearish, looking for a lower high and a push back into that support level. So as long as we don't take out the high, bearish. There's a couple setups, a couple levels that look interesting. You got one over here, nice consolidation, sharp break to the downside. Could see a retest of that, then a continuation. Or secondly, you got the supply zone up there, which is where we pull back into and then drop from. We might see price come back and revisit, test that area, 1.355 roughly, and look for continuation off the back of that. Either which way though, pound USD shorts look good. So pound USD, yes, 100%. Setups there for me right now. Pound Aussie, although I do expect price to break lower, there is no setup at the moment. We're kind of respecting support really, so I have to be careful of that. And in terms of some other pound pairs quickly, like pound yen, I'm pretty bullish on this one, but more so to do with the yen itself rather than pound being strong. I'm looking at something like this happening, but that could take again quite a few days potentially. but I'm looking for some big swings there. Pound CAD, I do think this market's quite tired and getting ready for a bit of a sell. We are respecting support pretty well here, so I'm kind of waiting for that to break, and hopefully when it does, we'll see a push into this level, and that's kind of my trading range. The price can eventually break through that. We're looking to short it and swing it back into the lows there. The way I see it, price might put in the double top here, and it might now be ready to see that kind of reversal pattern come into motion. But that support clearing is quite important as well. So for pound CAD, pound Aussie, pound USD, I have a bearish bias, more so pound USD right now. Pound Aussie, I have a bearish bias, but we're bouncing off support, so we could be bullish for quite a few days there. But pound USD, I'm bearish right now, looking for opportunities to short it. Pound CAD, again, not quite there yet. So that's kind of where I'm at with pound. MJ, what do I think of New Zealand CAD shorts? Okay, we can take a look at that. Okay, so New Zealand CAD shorts. Yusuf, thoughts on UJ was to short from the high of the range to the lows. High of the range is testing the lower low. Level it broke. Okay, I think I know what you mean. Are you talking about like the 4-hour chart, UJ? I just called you UJ. Are you talking about the 4-hour chart, Yusuf? For that range, or are you talking about 50-minute chart range? No problem, Lauder. Happy to help with the pound analysis. King, yes, I can take a look at Euro for you. I forgot to go through Ethereum. I'll go through Ethereum actually. Pavinator, my man, what is up? Welcome, welcome. I'm doing good. Happy Wednesday. Still holding some Aussie dollar shorts. Okay, let me go through Ethereum. So yeah, Ethereum looking pretty interesting. I quite like Ethereum actually. It had a nice price action. We had some support over here. Basically just had a big fake out really. It's funny how the price action on crypto is just like any other market really. There's nothing special about it. And that just goes to prove that, pretty much any market there is, it's just a combination of buyers and sellers, and that combination of buyers and sellers, that transaction between buyers and sellers creates patterns based on people selling the market, based on people buying the market, and they're self-fulfilling, self-sustaining. These patterns or markets which are nowhere near as liquid as like a Euro USD or pound USD. You're seeing support, you're seeing a fake out, you're seeing price break back in, retest it, and then continue. That's something you can see very nicely on like a euro dollar. Very, very liquid market, the most liquid market. Ethereum, nowhere near. Still seeing similar patterns as well in pretty kind of clean, in a clean format. So I always quite like seeing that. But anyway, really nice break and retest on the weekly chart, and since then we've been absolutely flying to the upside, and now we're smashing into some resistance here, which is our next big obstacle for Ethereum. If we're going to smash through that, then we can make our way back to the all-time highs, which is 4886, just shy of 5k. So that's kind of where I'm expecting Ethereum to eventually get to. I'm liking the momentum. This is, it means business, some big candles there. Not too sure what's going to happen at resistance here. We might go for a bit of a sell-off. We could come back down, to be honest. That's a possibility. The key thing I'm looking to see is if we can break above this, because that could be the green light for some nice buys there for Ethereum back into the high. At the moment, of course, we're in resistance, slowing down. And we are becoming quite corrective now, so I think as time goes on, we might get something like this. Doesn't really show it too well. Something like this, which it means that we're about to sell off as well. So yeah, Ethereum, it might be time for a bit of retracement. It has been very, very bullish in fairness. So it's not like Ethereum's been stingy or anything. It's been a lovely swing to the upside, but maybe it's time for a bit of a correction soon as we approach major resistance. But I think once we break through that, we'll get the green light for a push back to highs. But got to be patient. Okay, where was I? So New Zealand CAD we'll go through next, and I'll take a look at the UJ. Okay, 50-minute chart, 50-minute range. Okay, I'll have a look at that. And then we can go for Euro as well. Pavinator bum dude got stopped out of my sell trade while I was in a meeting at work. Now the Aussie dollar is going back down. That is unfortunate. I mean, you still walked away for profit. So again, yeah, trading is a funny thing because, you know, profit is profit at the end of the day. It's profit you didn't have before. But because, you know, you're in a trade, especially a trade which you expect to go further as well, you get stopped out early. 100% an annoying thing. It always will be, really. It always will be an annoying thing, no matter how much experience you have, because especially if you expect the market to continue falling. And again, just because you do expect it to continue falling doesn't mean it will as well. There will be times where you do expect to continue falling, it doesn't, and it reverses against you, and potentially, instead of walking away with a bit of profit, you might walk away with nothing, or even a loss even. So you can flip it on its head a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I would just say, you know, be happy for the profits that you did gain. It was a nice trade, very nice catch. You caught it right at the high there. Beautiful move down. You know, of course, ideally, you still want to be in the trade, but you did catch a nice move. I think you entered around here somewhere, probably exited around there. That's a decent chunk, a decent short there. I think onto the next one, maybe you can look over the trade and say, did I trail a little bit too tightly? That could be a possibility, which could be a lesson learned to the next trade. I would say, because again, when I'm trading stops, I always have it above structure, but I always give myself a little bit of room above that high or low. So I wouldn't put it like just there in terms of just above a high. I'll probably give myself maybe a few pips, something like that. But even then again, I could still be wicked out. So maybe it was a situation of trading a little bit too close. But again, even times where you give yourself a bit more room, you still get stopped out as well. So trading stops is not a perfect method to manage trades. There will be times where you get tagged out and still see price continue in direction. Just like partials is not a perfect method, because you close positions early. It means that when you do hit your final target, you don't have the full size on. You can't really reap the benefits completely. So there's always pros and cons. I think trading is just about accepting the downsides that come with it, really. And that's one of them. But you do walk away with a decent profit. So definitely pat yourself on the back from that. Okay, yeah, that's a good return. During rainy session, hit my stop loss. Yeah, fair enough. Oh no, we wait for the new entry. Of course, that's it. Back on the road again. Okay, trailed too tightly. I should have left it at 50 buckaroos. It's like, because I was in it. Yeah, fair enough. Exactly. And those other commitments come into play as well. You know, those commitments come into play. You know, you could be at work, you could be, with friends, or you could be doing whatever, really. Just not at on your phone or on your charts to actually check the trades, and something can happen like that as well. Yeah. It's unfortunate, but again, still walked away for profit, so gotta look at the pros there. Okay, so let me go through New Zealand CAD before I forget that pair as well. Did you ask, am I in shorts? Oh, what do I think about the shorts? I don't really like the shorts. I like New Zealand CAD shorts long term. I do feel like price can really break to the downside here. That's really kind of what I'm looking for New Zealand CAD over the next few weeks, really. So I'm looking at a big push into this low here for New Zealand CAD. However, we are really in a range right now. So I'm not favoring that just yet until I see evidence of us breaking to the downside. At the moment, we're incredibly flat. If I go to the weekly chart, you can see we're just going wicks galore, upside, downside. So I would not be looking to short the market now, especially in the middle of a range here. If we're at the high of the range, fair enough, it makes sense to short there. If we're at the low of the range, it makes sense to buy there. But I would not be looking to short in the middle. That's just where all the noise is, and I'm not going to find myself a safe stop loss with a healthy entry. Chances are I'm going to get wicked out randomly on a random move here. So yeah, shorts New Zealand CAD, absolutely not. But if we can break through the consolidation, healthy breakout, and look for some pullbacks, maybe a retest of that area, maybe a retest of some structure to our left here. It depends on the breakout and then the retracement. But anything like that, yes, I will happily be interested in the shorts. And at that point, I do think we can see a lot more downside and push back to the 0.79 area. So I'm pretty bearish New Zealand CAD long term. If that's kind of what you're favoring, I agree. I'm very much on it. If you're talking about shorts like right now, not a big fan because we're in a range and that's just very speculative. But if we can commit to the downside, look for retests of some lows or retest of the range there, then yes, I'll back that as well. That'd be something actually I'll be looking at myself to get into a trade and see if I can ride it back down to some lows there as well. So New Zealand CAD long term, yeah. Short term, it's 50-50 really. We need to catch that breakout first before I do get really excited about the shorts. Yusuf, you mentioned a 50-minute range. Are you talking about this range here? Short from the high of the range to the lows because the high of the range is testing the lower low. Okay, I see what you mean. So the high of the range here is testing the lower low here. So you're looking to short from the high of the range. Yeah, that makes sense as well. I probably would drop to like a 5-minute chart to probably trade that. I think 15, especially if you enter like candlestick patterns, probably won't give you the best entry and best risk reward because, let's say if I was to enter like a bearish engulfing like this one here, I'm probably going to get like a 1 to 1.24, which is nothing wrong with that. But if I was to enter on a 5-minute chart, I probably could get that to like a 1 to 3. Yeah, there's a nice bearish engulfing there. Well, closing the dot. You suddenly turn into a 1 to 3 there, so the risk reward's much better. So I probably dropped to like a 5-minute chart if I was going to trade the width of that range, or the height, I should say, the height of that range. Yeah, I'd probably drop to like a 5-minute chart just to maximize the entry and the risk reward. 50-minute chart, I think the candlesticks are too big to make it. It's not necessarily too big. A 1-to-1 is not a bad risk reward. It's just, just by dropping slightly lower, you can make it quite a lot better. But yeah, I can see the logic there. Price is ranging. If we're going to continue the range back and forth, shorting high, buying low makes sense. And of course, you're backed up with the retest of that low there as well. So yeah, I don't mind that trade at all. I would say just wait for us to get back to the highs, wait for us to show some really strong signs of rejection before jumping to a trade. Then yeah, a push back to the low makes sense too. So I don't mind that at all. Okay, so we'll go through Euro USD next. Brayton, okay, pound, Bitcoin. A lot of people talking about Bitcoin today. We'll take a look at BTC. Philip, what's up? Next direction for gold. Enter the buy at 33.28. Okay, not the biggest fan of gold. Just very, very choppy, very, very messy. Yeah, when things are sideways, my motto is buy low, sell high. Buy as low as you can, sell as high as you can. So, yeah, in terms of direction, the direction is just sideways. But I will go through it for you. LFTJ, in terms of hourly, how do you trail stops from current price? I mean, well, it really depends. Well, in terms of how I just do it in terms of market structure. But there's 50 ways you can trail stops. I've tested quite a few ways, but for me, the better way I've had two good ways. One's just a bit more basic and it keeps things very, very simple. Second way is a little bit more, it allows you to probably squeeze the trade a little bit better, but a lot more work to do. So the first way, which is how I used to trail stop loss in the beginning, which is just basically in terms of risk to reward. So basically, I would hop into a trade like this, and let's say, this is 1-to-1 roughly. So every time I would go up 1R, I would trail my stop loss 1R as well. So let's say I hopped into a position and then it went 1R in profit. Well, then I move my stop loss to break even. And then let's say it went 2R in profit, I move my stop loss to 1R. Let's say it went 3R in profit, move my stop loss to 2R. And if it does trail me out, I walk away with 2R. If it goes 5, 6, 7, you get the gist. I just trail it up as it goes along. So in terms of simplicity, this is actually a great method. It's not in terms of trying to really maximize your gains, because markets do fluctuate. Very rarely you're going to get a trade that just goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and just hits all the R's and just glides in your favor. Some trades will. So, some trades will just kind of just fly, and those trades you can end up walking away with like an 8, 9R possibly. Every kind of once in a blue moon that those trades do happen. But a lot of the time, especially in FX, things do fluctuate. Just look at the charts here. We do fluctuate quite a lot. We're back and forth here. So the reason why I didn't stick with the method, not because it doesn't work, is just because we do get those kind of pullbacks and those kind of big dips, which will take me out the trade a little bit early, and then price will go in my favor. So it's not that it wasn't working. It's just that I wanted something that was a little bit more specific to the market I was trading. And that's when the second method came in, which is, again, not reinventing the wheel, just literally following market structure. So if I was to hop into a trade and price start to create structure in my favor, that's when I'll start to trail stops. So when price did pull back, as long as it didn't break structure, I'm still in the position. And then, but the thing with this method, I'd always have targets in. I wouldn't just blindly trail, because sometimes what you can get into a situation is market will create structure, but then it might have like a sudden big move. So you be in a situation where you're trailing here because underneath a low, but you've got this massive move here, and sometimes you don't get the continuation. So you might be floating up here like 6R, but you'll walk away with like 2R, and you're like, did I really need to give back all that 4R to the market? Probably not. So having targets along the way, it makes this method a lot better as well. So I would trail stops underneath lows or highs if you're shorting, but look at taking partials or just having like a complete kind of target of where you want to get out completely. This method, you don't need to have targets, because the stop loss is not too far away. It's only 1R difference. You won't be in a situation where you're up 7R and you give back like 5R. That won't happen. Worst case scenario, you walk away with 6R, which is still fantastic. So with the first method, you don't need to targets really, or trading or partial targets. Just trail as you go along. Of course, it has its flaws as well. It's not perfect, but it's a great way in terms of finding consistency and not kind of like overthinking things, because you know exactly what you're doing. 1R in profit, break even, 2R, 1R, 3R, 2R. So it's pretty simple from that perspective. And if you're looking for simplicity and just getting consistency, I really recommend that method. If you're looking to kind of maximize your returns a bit better, then I recommend the second method as well. Trading stops underneath lows whilst having partials and complete targets as well. I think that's the best way to maximize it. But you can do that on any time frame, not just hourly chart, 5-minute chart all the way to monthly even. Anyway, so Euro up next, I believe. Yeah, Euro. So Euro USD I'm pretty bearish on. Looking for a lot more downside for this one. This is my area of confidence where I'm looking to short. But I have to stay patient because I need a pretty big retracement if we're going to get there. But yeah, Euro was starting to put some lower highs in. So that's making me starting to shift my bias from well, I wasn't really bullish anyway. I was kind of just neutral. So from neutral to bearish, really. But we've had this lovely trend. It's starting to become quite tiresome, lacking momentum, not much momentum in this last bullish leg. So for those reasons, I haven't really been looking to buy the market. And now I'm starting to see some lower highs come into town with a lot of momentum as well. The fact that DXY looks like it's putting a higher low in as well. Looks like DXY is getting back above some critical levels. So if DXY is about to reverse, Euro is likely going to reverse as well. So all I'm looking to do is try and see if I can catch the next lower high. We've got one over there, we've got a second over there, and hopefully we can find a third somewhere, and that will be the short to take. So Euro just looking for a push back into that consolidation, retest that, then the short. I'm expecting a lot more downside in the near future, especially if the dollar keeps up its strength, and hopefully we can take advantage of that. So that's really where I'm at with Euro USD. Okay, we'll go through BTC and gold next as well. MJ preferred GU over Euro. Yeah, I kind of do prefer GU over Euro as well. It's a really nice head and shoulder pattern. It's just I like the entry setup a bit better for Euro. Nice consolidation, big supply, healthy retracement. It makes sense. So because of that, I quite like Euro as well. But Euro GU, same thing pretty much. If you get a good short in pound, Euro is probably going to give you a nice move as well. Maybe one might outperform the other, depending if Euro or pound's going to be weaker at the time. But they're going to do the same things 8, 9 times out of 10, really. So it's just picking the better pair and trading it. Some people might be focused on Euro, some people might focus on pound. As long as you're in the right direction, doesn't really matter. But yeah, I like pound USD as well. No problem, Yusuf. Happy to help. Okay, so let's take a look at BTC. So yeah, as I mentioned for Bitcoin, just the market that's consolidating. So not much to report on really, unless you're trading within the consolidation. I think as long as price stays in the consolidation, you're basically looking to buy low, sell high. Until we do get the breakout, then we can investigate and see what price is going to do next. If we're breaking to the downside, there's some areas here to keep an eye on. If we're breaking to the upside, well, you've got the wick high here at 123k, and then we'll go from there. But in terms of the lower time frames, we're just fluctuating really between support and resistance. So if you're looking for any ideas, then wait for price to approach support, wait for price to approach resistance, wait for rejection, and then you can look to do your business off the back of that. But as for the middle of the range, I would stay away. There's nothing really to do there. You're asking for trouble if you're looking to trade inside of that area, because that's where a lot of the fluctuation happens. Unless you're looking for very kind of short-term moves on the lower time frames, you can get away with that. But really, I don't think that's really the area where there's value. There's value where, there's buyers and sellers, and there's value where kind of everyone's kind of looking to, guess the direction. Inside of here, everything's very flat, but once we start approaching support, people are debating if things are breaking out or things are looking to turn around. That's where you want to get involved. In here, I'm not seeing much opportunity. So yeah, as long as we continue to range, buying low, selling high makes sense. Other than that, I would stay away. I would stay away from BTC. Okay, so we'll go take a look at gold next for Philip. Yusuf, a question on entry and structure. So okay, so you're going to give a nice little paragraph there. I'll wait for you to drop that. In the meantime, we'll take a look at gold. Okay, so for gold, yeah, as for direction for gold, well, the direction for gold is up, in terms of the big picture. Pretty obvious there. Massive uptrend. So direction for gold is up. In terms of the past a week or two or three, it's flat. It's sideways. Well, since actually mid-April, direction is flat. So we've got long-term up, medium-term flat, short-term you could argue down. So a bit of contradiction between everything. It's not like up, which is giving you kind of a crystal clear opportunity. If you're getting the higher time frames are up, lower time frames up, you're looking to buy. If the higher time frames are down, but the lower time frames are up, well, you're probably going to get ready to start shorting the lower time frames when they show signs of reversal, so you can follow the higher time frames. But here we've got a lot of contradiction. And because the market is ranging anyway, so the best way to trade that is not to trade in the middle of the noise, but wait for price to approach significant areas of support and resistance and look for opportunities there. Just recently, price smashed into resistance, respected it very, very well. Numerous rejections in the past, and price had a very nice rejection off that. I'm looking for pretty much the same pattern again off the low here at 32.60. And same off this area here as well, which is 31.40. Nice support level, big rally. I like the idea for a buy there. So not trying to reinvent the world or anything crazy, just looking to buy low away from all the noise. I can get safe stop losses and trade off significant support levels. And of course, as long as price shows some healthy signs of rejection there, I'll be happy to take a buy. As for here, I don't know what price is really trying to do, to be honest. It's a very aggressive sell-off. We just about spiked through the lows there. To me, it looks like we could be forming some type of head and shoulder pattern here for a bit of a sell, but I wouldn't trade that anyway. Not especially when we're in the middle of this range. So going forward with gold, direction sideways, but long term I'm expecting upside. You said you did get a buy from 33.28, which would be here somewhere, 33.28, yeah. So I don't mind it, but I'm not a big fan. I say that because, again, you're kind of in the middle of the range here. Not, price hasn't approached any significant support. And when price is in the middle of the range, kind of it's 50-50, anything can happen really. And it's difficult for stop loss placement as well. So not the biggest fan really, especially after such a big rejection off the high there. I do think price can still make its way further to the downside, which is why I would much prefer to take a buy off this level. Again, I'm not saying this level is perfect and you're guaranteed to make a profit here. It's just I'd rather buy from that area because I know this is a more significant support level and there's a good chance price could react from this. Even just if it's just a reaction, it doesn't have to be a massive swing trade here. And same thing for this level, away from all the noise, where I think that we could be some fresh buys coming into play. As for this area here, I can see probably why you've gone long. Your price coming back into support there, trying to anticipate a higher low, maybe another push up. Makes sense, but just conditions are awful, so I wouldn't back that. If this was like a nice trending condition, yes, I think that could make sense. But because we're flat, I personally don't really see much opportunity there. So for that reason, I would stay away. Okay, where was I? Yusuf, okay, I have a question, please. Entry structures, I have healthy downtrend on the higher time frame. My question is, how would you look for an entry when the pullback is moving in a channel? It's corrective, but how do you sense a shift in momentum? There are any opportunity I see since I started. Sometimes I end up entering too early and I get stopped out. The move starts. I like it. So basically what you're saying is So down the higher time frame is bearish. The market's heading lower, and you get into entries too early, you get stopped out, and the move continues. Well, you've pretty much answered your question, really, because as I keep saying with trends, trends, I like trends because they're pretty much black and white. With a trend, let's say you got market structure like this is the bearish trend, and let's say the market's having a pullback. Well, there's only two things really that can happen here. It's either the market structure breaks, which is the market takes out this high, and you get a reversal potentially, or the market continues the trend and you head back down to the lows eventually, which is the low here. So there's only two things that the market can ever do. It can yap around, it can do some weird things, it can consolidate, might fake to go up, fake to go lower. So it can do all of this, but eventually it's going to either break structural or eventually it's going to continue. So there's only two things the market can do. So if you think of the market like that, it makes things pretty simple. And then it comes down to what you want to do. If you want to look to sell or anticipate a reversal, well, if you're looking to anticipate reversal, you can either look for very aggressive entries and buy the lows here, or you can wait for more conservative entries, which is waiting for a break of structure, then pullbacks after for a buy. So if that's the reversal, that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for a continuation of the trend, well, here you're looking to anticipate where the next lower high is going to form to then continue back to lows, so on and so forth. So if you're trying to look for continuation trades, there's only two ways you can take a loss, really. The first way you can take a loss is if you get into a trade and you get into the market too early, which is the way you just mentioned. So let's say that's your entry, let's say that's your stop loss, and your targets are down here. So you get into the trade, market takes you out, then it continues. So you were right in terms of your analysis. The market did continue the trend, but of course you have nothing to show for it because price did take your stop loss before it did continue. So essentially all you did here was just get in too early. And the second way you can get stopped out and take a loss and lose a trade is if the market was never going to continue in your direction anyway. So let's say, again, you took an entry here, stop loss there, targets down there. Let's say price just continued all the way. So in this case, your analysis was quote unquote wrong and the market reversed. So there's only two ways that you can actually get stopped out. The market either reverses or you just got in too early. That's the only two ways you can take a loss if you're trend following. So the best way to counteract that is the first thing is understanding which case, which scenario, which is the more prominent situation you find yourself in. Is it the first scenario where you're getting too early, getting stopped out, then price continues you in your favor? Or is it the second scenario where price is just reversing all the time? In your case, it looks like it's the first situation in terms of getting stopped out too early. So if that's the case, there's two remedies for that. First remedy is you don't necessarily need to change too much, especially if you're still getting a good amount of winning trades. Just always focus on the re-entries, because what a lot of people do is they take a trade, get stopped out, and they're like, oh, I messed it up, and they look somewhere else for another trade. Then you come back maybe the next day or whatever, and you see prices continued. So what you need to do is focus on that pair. Until this high is taken out, the trade idea is still valid. You might have lost the trade, but the trade idea is still valid. So if you see another entry signal, don't be shy to re-enter. Of course, you might be thinking, I don't want to take another loss, but again, that's where risk reward comes in. If you take two losses, but your average risk reward is a 1 to 3, doesn't really matter. So don't be scared to lose again. Of course, make sure that the entry makes sense. I'm not just saying blindly enter the trade. Wait for another appropriate entry signal. But don't be afraid to enter again, because maybe you did enter too early, but maybe the second entry is the one that does play off. So don't be afraid to re-enter the trade. And the second one is try and experiment with entering a little bit later. If you keep seeing that you get stopped out and then the market goes in your direction, maybe just generally too early to the party. And this is something that I've talked about before. You don't want to be the first person to the trade. If you think about it, the average participant in the market is going to be very excited, very gun-ho, very easy to get into the market. As an experienced trader, you want to be more of like a sniper, more of you want to be more precise, which means you're kind of biding your time a little bit. So you don't want to be the first person that just jumps on the cheese. You want to be kind of biding your time, waiting for the right opportunity, which means kind of letting things go, letting things slide. Don't take in the first entry possible. Even if it does look good, I don't want to be a part of that. I want other people to jump onto that and then get sucked into the trade and then watch them get stopped out, and then I take my my share on the next move down. So try just entering the market a little bit later, not taking the first signal that you see, maybe waiting for the second or even the third. Yes, sometimes you will miss out on some trades because sometimes the first signal does actually pay off. But again, we're talking about on average here. We're not talking about every trade. We're talking about on average. If you're getting stopped out early on average, better way to try and avoid that is just entering a little bit later. So wait for some later entries. Don't take the first setup. Don't try and take the second. Maybe take the third. Yes, you'll miss out on some trades, 100%, but your win rate might improve because of that. So try and look to enter a little bit later. Where you have your stop loss, try and see if you can get your entries there. So yeah, my biggest advice is enter later. And if you do get stopped out first, because of course you're not going to catch it right or catch the highs and lows perfectly the first time. If you do get stopped out a bit early, don't be afraid for the re-entry, especially if you've got positive risk reward, 1 to 2s, 1 to 3s. If you're averaging around there, you can afford to enter again. So yeah, don't be afraid for re-entries as well. But if you look at it like that, keep it simple. If you're just getting stopped out too early, enter the market later. Enter the market later. Because again, it's a lot of excitement as well. People don't want to miss out on a move. The worst thing to do really in people's brains is to forecast the move and then miss the move. You forecast the pullback and miss the pullback. So because of that, people are very trigger happy to get into positions. You want to be the person who's kind of so patient, it's almost scary. And if you can build that kind of habit and that kind of patience, that'll pay off dividends. So hopefully that made sense. If you have any other questions, if I kind of missed the point of your question, which I might have, let me know. Anyway, let's go through. Season integrated. Did I say hi to you? I don't think I did. What's up? Hope you're well. Still bullish on DXY? Yes, I'm still bullish on the DXY. Still looking for more upside. I'm looking for opportunities now, actually, on the dollar. Philip, no problem. Chart so clean and simple, so much value, no problem. Happy to help. If you guys are enjoying the stream, by the way, please be sure to drop a like and subscribe. Does really help out. I do really appreciate that. Thank you to everyone who has liked and subscribed to the stream and the channel. And of course, hit the bell as well if you haven't done so, because you don't want to miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. But let's take a look at the DXY. And also, guys, if you're interested to check out Zenthrix AI-powered signal services, a project we launched recently, a project that looks into a lot of developing tools for retail traders and other traders as well, but mainly retail traders to help kind of level the playing field, develop tools driven by AI to help improve the journey of traders, because it can be complicated, but sometimes when you're kind of utilizing, new technology, you can really speed up your progress. And if you're looking at developing AI trading bots, developing indicators, developing strategies, even backtesting strategies, a lot more as well. We have looked into a lot of development behind that and seeing how we can use AI to kind of help speed up the progression of that. So if you're interested to learn more about how AI can help your trading and help improve your trading, I will link the Zenthrix Telegram in the chat, which you can check it out. There's more information there. There's a lot more coming surrounding that project in the future. And if you are interested in learning or finding out about the AI powered signal service, check the Telegram. Go to the pin messages at the top. At the bottom of the list, you will see the link to the Telegram signal service. So check it out if you are interested. But anyway, in terms of the DXY, I am pretty bullish. I do expect more upside. At the moment, I am looking for more buys. And since we did get that break to the upside and we took out this high over here to our left, I am pretty bullish now. So basically the plan is, can I find a pullback of this leg, especially with that momentum there? I like the idea of a retest of this area because it coincides quite well with support there on our left. We got the 50% of the fib there, so that would be a nice place for a retest there too. So I'm looking to see if we can find some buys off that area. And yeah, new highs. I'm kind of looking to target 100. That's a big psychological level. I feel like price might be attracted to that, at least a push to this area, which is where I believe you said you're looking to target there as well. So if you can see a push back to that area, I think that will be, I think that will make a lot of sense to even like book some profits. I think if I do get into a buy for the dollar, if price starts getting there, let's say if I'm selling like euro, selling pound, I probably would look to be quite careful and take profits from those areas. But I think 100 is where I try and expect to see the dollar. I mean, I'll see how things develop. It's not a situation where I'm like, okay, price has to get to 100. I think price got a good chance of getting there. I'll see how the price develops, read candlesticks, momentum. If I'm getting some red flags, and of course, I'll reinvestigate. But yeah, I'm very bullish on the dollar, expecting more upside. I'm looking for a pullback though. Hopefully we can get one. I know we've got a lot of news coming up, so I don't know. Maybe we might explode today later with the interest rates. We've got NFP on Friday as well, so you have to keep an eye out for that. But yeah, looking for some pullbacks and some more upside. Danny, like you said, be patient. Be so patient is scary. Yeah, that's not a bad quote actually. But yeah, I mean, it's really true, to be honest, because you know, if the majority of traders aren't profitable, retail traders aren't profitable, you know, what's the common traits of them? And you kind of just want to be the opposite, really. Yeah, it might not sound so amazing or so beautiful, but it literally is that. Not very patient, very eager to get into the market, quick to take profit, holds losers for forever. You know, over risking, no a plan or approach, no consistent strategy, not really journaling, reviewing trades, probably no back testing either, trading any pair they can get their hand on. You know, the list goes on really, but if you can do literally the opposite of pretty much everything I just said, you put yourself in a great position. And I think profitability probably just a matter of time, really, just about consistency and just developing your approach to the market from then onwards. But yeah, really just being the opposite of all of those traits, I think puts you well ahead of everyone else. I think experience is huge as well. So, you know, that's why I said it's only a matter of time. So if you could do the opposite of those things, plus just time and experience in the market, you know, you're putting yourself in a very, very good position. CS integrated, your buy zone 98.3. Yeah, roughly around there. 98. Yeah, 98.3 to 98, I would say. Anywhere in here, kind of where the 50 kind of lines up. It's not specific, as in it has to be that area. I'm kind of going to read the price action, but anywhere within here would be great for a buy. And then if I flip to euro, which is the pair I probably would be looking to trade, or pound, anywhere in this area would be good for a sell. And for pound USD, anywhere in here would be good for a sell. This is a bit too shallow for me. I think this is more like a trade on like an hourly on a 50-minute chart, but for me, I enter a lot of my positions on the 4-hour chart, so this is something I'll be quite interested in. So those are the areas which I'm liking for shorts. And also, and with the patient thing as well, you know, patience is a funny thing because you can be patient, but the wrong patient as well. You want to be patient in the right circumstance, because I've been it before where you've been so patient you miss out on good trades as well. And what's the point of being patient if you're going to miss out on good trades? So patience is kind of just the symptom of just knowing exactly what you're looking for and exactly what a good trade looks like to you in terms of your analysis, your strategy, your setup, your entries. So the thing you should be focusing on is not necessarily patience, it's just knowing exactly what your trade setup looks like and being very, very good at taking those trades. And the result of that is being very, very patient, because everything else is all just noise. Low quality setups from other strategies, you're not interested, at least for now anyway. You're focusing on that strategy. Once you kind of get a good rhythm with that, you can experiment with others 100%, but you want to focus at one at a time at least. So if you focus at that, get good at that, naturally you become more patient and you naturally become a bit more picky as well. So don't put the patience on the pedestal. I just want to make that clear, because you could find yourself where you're just being patient just to be patient, really. And you're passing up on bad trades, but you're passing up on good trades as well. So you want to be careful with that. But yeah, if you know your strategy well, the patience will come naturally. No problem, Yusuf. Looking at gold and noticed that the pullback was in the channel and remembered how I frequently stopped out. And the pullback is correct. Yeah, corrective as well is not worthwhile to follow. I don't follow corrective markets. So if I'm seeing a trend that starting to become corrective like this, that for me is instantly discarded. I completely just missed the X there. Let's do that again. Yeah, I'm not looking to follow that anymore. It might continue for a little bit longer, but I'm not interested. Especially in FX. If this is like indices, US 30, that's a different story, because indices can really chug along for quite a while. FX, no. If I'm going to follow a trend, it's got to be healthy. So in this circumstance where the trend was pretty healthy, I was looking for buys here for pound. As soon as things start to get corrective, like now, things at you can see the last bullish leg here was super corrective there. That instantly put me off looking to buy pound USD, and also the fact that we just took out some major resistance as well, major swing high. So that company with the fact that we took out a high, being corrective. Since then, I haven't been looking to buy pound, and now I'm interested in sells. And you can see the sells now. This wasn't the biggest sell-off. There was some nice momentum here. I wouldn't say it's extremely impulsive, but here we've actually seen some nice momentum now. Not corrective, very commanding. That's something I'm interested in. That's something I want to follow. So as soon as something comes corrective, I'm looking for the opposite move. A lot of people do kind of ask in the streams. Sorry, got a croaky throat today. But a lot of people do ask on the streams. If a market is bullish, but I'm saying I'm looking to sell it, they're like, why are you looking to sell it? Well, the biggest reason why, 9 times out of 10, the reason I'm looking to sell a market that is bullish is because the current trend is just looking very fatigued and looking very tired. Therefore, I'm looking for the opposite move. That's normally the reason why I'm looking to go against the trend, if I am looking to go against it. If the trend is healthy, then absolutely not. I'll look to follow the trend. As long as it's healthy, as long as seeing clear momentum, healthy pullbacks, I'm all over it. I'm looking to continue to follow the trend. As soon as things get corrective, I'm seeing a lot of slow behavior, frequent pullbacks, deep pullbacks. I'm out of there. I'm not looking to follow it. Johnny D, AJ, we can take a look at that, no problem. Forex Mastery, we take a look at Aussie yen, no problem. Lauder, the market is very tricky, I must say, and I respect traders who are staying in the game. Yeah, 100%. I feel like you learn a lot as you go along, and you come to appreciate kind of just staying in the game is very important as well. And it comes down to a lot of kind of just a plan and approach, because if you don't have a plan or approach, you'll be out the game in due course, 100%. You might not be out the game today, but give it a few, you probably will be eventually out of the game. So a plan is essential, just in terms of managing risk. Really, you could have a losing strategy, but if you just manage risk, at least it will take a good few months eventually to blow the account. So at least that will keep you in the game for that time, just in terms of managing risk, really, even if the strategy is losing. If you've got a break-even strategy, which a lot of people do actually, you'd be surprised. I'm not saying the strategy's break-even, I'm just saying the way you trade it is break-even, because you can have a profitable strategy but trade it unprofitably. So there's that. But let's say you're in a break-even position, just by managing risk will keep you in the game, you know. And of course, if you've got a profitable one, yeah, the rest is history. But yeah, that's a good point, Lauder. That's a good point. Very easy to wipe yourself out of this game. I think if you just learn how to manage risk, even if you're not profitable yet, that will keep you in the game. Keep the losses small. You know, set limits per day, per week, per month of max loss. I think that's a really underrated rule as well, because a lot of people are like, okay, I just risk 1% per trade, which is good. But let's say if you take 50 trades a day, you know, you're exposing yourself to 50% risk. That's half your account every day. And of course, the odds of you losing 50 trades in a row is pretty slim. So I'd be very, very surprised if you do go and blow up the account, lose half the account in one day. But still, that's 50% risk. You're going to expose some deep drawdown pretty soon. And that's 250% risk per week as well. Because 50% Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. That's 250% risk every week, and I know that's not sustainable. So even if you're risking 1% per trade, if you're just over trading, it's still actually very risky, to be honest. So you need to set yourself some caps, whether you're looking at just max loss for the day, the week, the month, or just max amount of trades, whatever it is. That's a very underrated part of risk management as well. Anyway, in terms of Aussie yen, I'm quite bullish on this one. I actually quite like the buys. Very swing approach for this one. But the way I see it, we've kind of had a bit of a reversal from this bearish trend to this bullish trend here. Kind of like a V-shape pattern. So you can see all the wicks here that price is collected. This is the weekly chart, by the way. I will drop to the low time frames in a moment. But I'm just telling you my long-term buys for this one. So you can see that price has found a lot of wicks here. Basically, I'm just looking for price to come back into this area, fire some more wicks, and then I'm looking for a really big swing. That's the long-term move I'm looking at. That could take maybe a few weeks to play out. So you can keep that in the back of our minds for now. But that's what I'm expecting long-term there for Aussie yen, and resistance here probably be eventually a target. Maybe this area up here as well. But that's the long-term move I'm looking for. In terms of the more short-term take, it looks like the daily's running out of steam, potentially forming a bit of a double top here. I think I'll just chalk this to a range, really, and kind of wait for us to break lower. There's this lovely range here just below us, and a nice area of demand too. So you can see a lovely range there, consolidated, eventually broke to the upside. I feel like right now it's just in another range as well. If we break lower, test this area, and of course, remember, this is kind of roughly the area where the weekly zone is as well. If I flick to the weekly chart, that's where we've got the weekly zone there as well. So if you can come into that area, we're in the weekly zone, we're in that daily area as well, I think that'll be a lovely place for a swing. So if I drop to the 4-hour chart, I'm kind of waiting for price to get there for a buy. Because if you look at the structure as well, got a swing low there, swing high, swing low, new swing high. I'm just looking for the new swing low for the next swing to the upside. There might be some shorts on the way down, like this. One high, second high, third high, another short there. And then we can speak about the buys later on. But we can speak about that when it actually is forming, because right now it's all hypothetical. But yeah, in terms of Aussie yen, it looks like we're topping out. I think maybe yen might gain some strength in terms of a pullback. I'm still long-term favoring more yen weakness. So pairs like Aussie yen, I'm expecting a lot more upside. But maybe the yen does gain a bit of strength. We do have a bit of Bank of Japan news coming out soon. So we'll see how the yen reacts to that, but it looks to me that price is really struggling at the highs here. First attempt, second attempt, starting to form a bit of consolidation, so I do anticipate a bit of a retracement. But as soon as we come back into this consolidation here, I think buys are looking very good, especially for a long-term swing. So that is where I'm at with Aussie. Okay, Dan, GJ, a lot of Aussie yen right now. No problem, Johnny, happy to help. Okay, we can go through GJ and gold for you. Just went through Aussie yen. Aussie yen is actually pale on my watch list, by the way, so I'm keeping a close eye on it. So yeah, Aussie yen, not Aussie yen, sorry, pound yen. I'm actually getting ready for some buys for this one. We've got some massive resistance just above our heads over here at 199, just shy of 200. I'm looking to see if we can go break through that, get some pullbacks, and ride this back to highs at 207.661. That's what I'm looking to see if we can get price moving towards. Very, very corrective channel here, but as soon as we can break the highs, I'm going to be very, very bullish on this one. Very, very consistent higher lows. It's just that, can we get that energy to break to the upside? And if we do, something similar to what happened with Euro Yen in terms of the massive breakout there. So you can see Euro Yen absolutely smash through the high here. And now I'm looking for us to eventually get there. So I'm actually quite excited with Euro Yen now because we're having a pullback. So I think there could be some nice buys soon. But I'm looking for pretty much the same thing with pound yen, the break of the resistance, and then on a one-way ticket back to the highs there. So that's really the plan I have now. Maybe there could be some buys before that. You're kind of buying into resistance. I don't really want to be doing that, really. I think this would be a much cleaner trade just in general. So I'm happy to wait for that setup. There might be some short-term buys at the moment. There's a pretty consistent trend line here, which price has been operating in. I can understand looking for buys there, but you do have a lot of resistance above your head. So I would be quite quick to take profit if things are not looking, if momentum's not really picking up too well in my favor. I'll be quick to exit from that trade. But as soon as we get something like this, I like it, looking for a lot more upside. In terms of gold, a lot of people have been talking about gold. I think I understand why, because it just is quite a difficult pair to analyze right now. But again, if you do analyze a pair and you kind of just scratching your head, you're not too sure about it, it's probably a good sign not to trade it. Don't feel obligated to analyze a market and have the need to understand what it's likely to do next and take a trade. Don't feel that need, because most of the time you're just going to be taking some nonsense trades which you just feel like you have to, which you don't. So if you look at a pair, it's not looking too good, you're spending quite some time analyzing it, move on. Either come back the next day or look at a different pair if you analyze more markets. In terms of gold, for me, it's just a very noisy chart right now. We've got clear support below us. That's where I'd wait for price to get to before looking to buy. So in my book, I'm not interested in anything here. Yeah, as soon as price approaches support, I can look for opportunity. Just like when price got to resistance there, smash into resistance, rejected, very nice sell opportunity there as well. I was never really a big fan of taking the sell because I'm kind of just only focusing on buys because of the trend we have right here. So I was never really going to look to short the high of the resistance, but I am prepared to short the low of the support there because I know I'm in favor of the trend. So I'm happy to find the buys here for gold. But again, it's simply we're in a range, highs and lows, avoid the middle. And same thing with this level here as well. Really nice support there too. I'm happy to buy off there too. So that's really where I'm at with gold. Still very bullish. Trend still very much up in the higher time frames, but just very, very choppy price action. And I would avoid trading in here. You know, I'm not saying you won't be able to find a profitable trade or make a profit there. It's just going to be working a lot harder, and you might be taking quite a few losses before you do get that win. And much easier to find trades here. Again, not to say that you guarantee to make a profit down here, but there's a lot more sense there. And in the long run, if you take more of these trades versus trades in the middle, you have a lot more joy here. Again, ranges are pretty simple. You don't need to overcomplicate them. Buying low and selling high, although sounds a little bit too simple, if you go and back test, you can see how fruitful it can be, especially if you can add a bit more confidences to them. I don't really train ranges that often. I do from time to time. Most of the time I kind of focus more on trending and following momentum, but especially when there's already a pretty big trend here for gold, I don't mind trying to pick the lows and see if we can catch more momentum. But anyway, that's kind of wraps us up for the stream for the day, guys. Appreciate it, Yusuf. Have a good one, my man. Hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. But yeah, guys, that does bring us to the end of the stream. I hope you have all found it useful. If that's the case, guys, please be sure to drop a like on the stream. It does really help out. I do really appreciate each and every one of you who has liked the stream so far. It does help out. It does make a difference. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. And of course, hit the bell so you don't miss out on any streams or uploads in the future. Again, live again tomorrow and Friday. Yeah, I forgot. Today's a Wednesday, isn't it? Yes. So yeah, every weekday, of course, from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. UK time. So if you're free, pop in, come say hi. But ladies and gents, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. I'll drop the link to the Zenthrix Telegram channel again. If you're interested in the AI signal service, get into the Telegram, check it out. Go to the pinned messages at the top, and at the bottom of the pile, you'll be able to see the link to the signal service there. So if you're interested, go check it out. But guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great day. I'll see you all in the next one.
Introducing Zenthrix AI-powered trading signals service. Tired of second-guessing your trades? Zenthrix AI scans the markets 24/7 with powerful, proven indicators built to give you clarity. You get 200+ signals every day on 15-minute, 1-hour, 4-hour, and daily charts. We cover Forex, crypto, commodities, indices, and stocks, so you're covered no matter what you trade. And the best part, you get all this delivered 3 ways, every day. Web alerts give you fast, clean access right from your dashboard. Telegram delivers real-time entries, confidence levels, sentiment, and trade duration. And email gives you the full breakdown, including 2 profit target levels and deep market analysis. Just hold $5 worth of ZTR. See what you can achieve with powerful AI trading intelligence by Zenthrix. Try it now. And join our Telegram channel.